Good day to all lecturers. My name is Ridwan, and today I'll be presenting my enhancements for my MGPG game. So first of all, I'll go through the gameplay enhancements. First of all, I've added life so that once you run out of life, the game will be over. Second of all, I've added power-ups to make the game more playable. There's three power-ups. Firstly, there's the speed power-up, which speeds up the frames and destroys the frames, and it gives a satisfying feelings of getting 3 points. Secondly, there's a dual power-up which destroys 2 frames at once, which means when you try to match a frame that is mirrored, it will also destroy the mirror to its left, which gives you 2 points. And the frame on its left does not need to be mirrored, and it will give you 2 points. So the next power-up is the freeze power-up, and it freezes the sprites from rotating so that it will be easier to compare the sprites and make a better match to see whether the frame is mirrored. Next, I've implemented a power-up bar for the gameplay to actually generate the power-ups as well as to swipe to activate the power-ups. And finally, there's also a theme changer which allows the player to change up the themes so as to give a variety in the gameplay. So in terms of user interface, here are the things that I've added into the game. So for the menu, I've added a score display, a theme changer and a volume slider for the settings. There's a live display, power up bar, as well as a pause button for the gameplay screen. For the post gameplay, I've added a display for the score, best score and the time, as well as a button for an option to restart the level. And in the pause screen, you'll be given an option to unpause the game and also return to the menu. So now let me walk through my codes. So right now I have 7 different classes. I've added a game manager into the game since the optimization. So let's go through what I've added into the game. So firstly, I've added lives. So you can see here that, alright, let's go through the frames manager with enhancements. So I've added an enum for the power up. As you can see, speed, duo, and freeze, and this will be randomized and will determine which power up will pop out in the game. I've added this swipe feature right over here. So as you can see, for mobile devices, it uses the touch class actually register the swipes. So in this function, it registers the starting position and also the ending position, which is FP and LP. So when it begins, it will register these 2 positions, and when it ends, it will register the end position. So it will compare the starting and the end position, which is over here, and it will get the absolute value and to see if the x and the x is bigger than the y of the 2 different positions. So this signifies that it's actually a left swipe. No, this actually determines that this is actually a left swipe, and there are different booleans that keep track of whether you can swipe to activate a power up. So allow activate power up, power active, and power up regenerate. So this is located in the update function in the frames manager class. So let's see what else I did. So so over here we have the power up speed, the speed power up enabled. As you can see, it actually destroys all the frames once it goes through the left side of the screen, despite it being mirrored or unmirrored, where usually it will only check for the leftmost frame if it's going through the left extent. And this is the response frames, check response frames function. Next up, we have the handle hit frame. So basically this is for the dual power up. So if it's a match and the dual power up is active and the current frame actually have a left neighbor, it will actually add 2 to the score for the game manager, and it will destroy 2 frames at once for the dual power up. And normally it will be just match without the dual power up, and this will just destroy 1 frame at a time. So, and over here you see that if the frame is not, if it doesn't match with the frame and the frame is unmirrored, we reduce a life in the game manager script. And destroy frames will be called every time the game is over, so that it will clear up the screen and clear the list as well to allow the new frames to be populated whenever they are initialized at the start of the gameplay. So here are 2 different functions that is start gameplay and stop gameplay, and it basically sets up all the UI effects and all the variables, and as well as the power-ups, so that it can be, since the whole game actually runs on one scene only, there will be different canvases, so it will be all set by some set from the frames manager, I mean the UI manager. So you have stop gameplay as well. We will reset the power up booleans as well. So this is the set frame speed, which is called when the speed power up is active. It will actually speed up the frames, which you will see in the frame.cs. So it goes through the frame scripts of all the frames in the scene view, and it actually modifies the speed of the frames to speed up. So here's the generate power up. This will be called whenever you tap on the power up bar, and it starts this coroutine, which is to generate this power up. So whenever you want to generate a power up, it will set the booleans, it will turn off the blinking hint, and it will go through this while loop, which actually changes up this total time variable, and you can see an effect of the power up bar increasing in value in the game. And once it reaches the end of the bar, once it reaches the duration, which is 10 seconds for all power ups to regenerate, it will allow the power up to be, it will actually generate a random power up and allow this power up to be activated. So once the power up is ready, the boolean will be set, and back to the swipe function. Once the power up is ready, the player can swipe the bar and we will start the power up coroutine. So for the power up coroutine, every power up will last for 5 seconds. So using a switch statement, there's also a power up enum, which I described earlier. For the case of speed, it will set the frame speed as mentioned previously to 10, and we'll set the other booleans to true, and same as the regenerate, but in this case it decreases in value. So once it reaches 0, it will wait for end of frame, and it will set the values back to their original booleans. So this is false. Set the frame speed to the normal speed. We'll set this to false. So once all of that is done, we'll update the power up bar to show that you've actually activated the power up. So here's a handy little function that actually prevents you from trying to match a frame whenever the pointer is over a UI. So for example, the pause button, whenever you want to click on the pause button, we ensure that it's not over. So whenever you want to click on the pause button, let me see where I called that. It should be somewhere over there. So when you want to check if you want to hit a frame and it's not over any pause buttons or any UI elements, then it can actually match the frames. If not, it will only click on the UI that is where the pointer is over the UI object. So let's move on to the frame script. I didn't really change much, but I only changed for the changing of theme. There will be these theme sprites, which actually gets the theme from the game manager, and the theme is actually being set in the game manager. As you can see here, I've created a theme enum for animals and fruits. So this get theme will actually return an array of sprites, which is already referenced in the game manager object. So it will be called by the frame. So it will be called over here, and it will actually whenever you want to randomize the sprites, it will get a random value and actually change the sprites from that array using that array. Okay, very nice. Now you can also set the theme and get the theme from the settings screen. For the game manager, you can initialize the gameplay stats, can add score, reduce a life as stated in the frames manager previously. So game over where you update the play preferences to save the score and actually transition the screen. So I have a list of transitions since the game only has one scene and different canvases. So we have these different transitions which involves calling the UI functions in the UI manager and modifying the timescale since there's a pause function. So that's basically everything that's here. There's also player preferences, which allows me to initialize the score variable and also update the value of the score variable. So now moving on to the background manager, since there's a change in theme, we should also I've actually created an array that actually stores the reference to the background sprites. So whenever a theme is being changed, it actually calls it actually uses the theme that is being selected, and it actually generates the background sprite based on the theme. So as you can see here, it's being called in game manager over here. Yep, background animals whenever you want to set key. Okay, now for the audio manager, for the audio slider, I actually implemented this two volume settings, which actually sets the volume on the background based on the slider value, and likewise for the sound effects. And I've also used an audio mixer to make this happen. So whenever you move the audio slider in the settings menu, it will actually take the value and actually use this logarithmic function to actually smoothly transition it through the volume slider. Particle manager, I didn't make any changes, it's still the same. For the UI manager, I've actually added a reference to all the different canvases and some variables. So you can see there are just some text updates, updating of the slider value for the power up. So displaying of the scores in the menu, displaying the current theme, score, time lapse, also the hint for the power up bar, turning off the hint, and also there's a list of set functions, which I call it set, which actually ensures that one specific canvas is active at a time. So set menu only allows menu to be active. So settings, gameplay, these are actually called in the game manager. As you can see here, yes, set gameplay. And most of the classes are actually made to be singleton so that it can be accessed from other scripts. And let's see if I missed anything. And yeah, for the pause button is actually being called in the over here. If yeah, gameplay to pause. So the pause button calls this function and actually sets the time scale to 0 and sets the canvas as well. And then that is basically it for my code walkthrough. Thank you for listening. I will see you soon.